republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mr. Goffel. Here. Ms. Lynn.
Here.
Mr. Cherry.
Here.
Mr. Dornan said he would be absent. Mr. Gongware.
Here.
Mr. Nemitz.
I'm here.
Mr. Vaca.
Present.
Mr. Brandt. Here. Ms. Dice.
Here.
Mr. Antonacci.
Here.
Chief Carlson. Mr. Cranebucker. Mr. Radicova.
Here. Give me just a second. Okay, everybody has received a copy of the minutes for the meeting on 2/12 of 25. What are the wishes of council?
I'll make a motion to accept as submitted.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Is there any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries.
Mr. President,
Yes.
can we skip to old business B? Greg Hansel, our first assistant chief here, he would like to discuss some things with council. Basically, what's going on with that.
So Dave, you gotta make a motion to do that.
I'll make a motion.
Oh, kids.
Second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, so we're gonna jump to old business B. Discussion and or deliberation and or official action on the solicitor drafting a resolution to allow the Manor VFD to apply for another LSA grant and the borough helping with the purchase of a truck. I'm not gonna ask for wishes, I'm asking for information.
Go ahead, Greg.
Okay, Chief Greg Stutz submitted a proposal of what our plans are, like Mr. Cherry asked.
Can you stand there so
Yeah.
everybody can hear? I'm sorry.
Mr. Cherry had asked us to come up with a game plan of how we're going to pursue this engine. Chief Greg Stutz submitted that. I'm here if you have any questions. What we're doing, I can give you a little bit of info of what we're doing.
You were gonna mention about,
Truck committee.
well, what you guys went to see.
Yes, that's
What's
what I'm,
coming?
that's what I'm going to do now. Myself and a couple other line officers, we were at the Fire Expo on March 2nd. We went down, looked at a couple of different truck manufacturers. We have one truck manufacturer bringing the truck here tomorrow for us to look at.
And if anybody on council would like to see it.
Anybody on council would like to come down and see it?
What time? 6.
We're shooting for 6 o'clock. Okay, I made contact with a lot of different companies. They're all basically the same ballpark number, of what it costs to build a truck. As you know, we can't do anything to figure out where we're getting the money paid for. So, any
How much
questions?
money is it?
What's that?
And about how much?
$1 million, I said that to you.
It's
You said who was on the truck.
between $900,000 and $1 million for doing
And is that?
it. In that bracket, yes. They're all within that same bracket. I mean, if you want a Cadillac, you can spend $1.3 million on an engine. I
What's the
mean,
name of the company?
it is All American Fire coming tomorrow. We've already met with Suffolk. We've reached out to Pierce. The C-grade, I talked to at the expo. Nobody liked the quality of their workmanship today, the way it is. C-grade used to be a very good fire truck manufacturer, but everything we've seen down there, it wasn't cared for. because of just the design and actually the construction of the truck.
So, what exactly are we asking here?
Well, you need a resolution.
Okay, but here's my issue. I have the email that was sent, okay? And it pretty much tells me who the committee is. And then it says it's gonna schedule meetings with 3 manufacturers, okay? And then it's going to receive quotes from said manufacturers that make site visits to available similar engines throughout the area. And then it says if possible, visit manufacturers' facilities, investigate a 2% loan, apply for available grants, and then propose committee meeting 3rd Sunday of every month, starting March at 6:30. Okay, so you're coming right now with some, I guess, some kind of numbers of sorts?
Well, she asked me a number in a ballpark range.
Okay, so how,
We've only sat down with one manufacturer and got an actual,
so how are we supposed to vote when there's only been one?
There hasn't even been a quote. It doesn't sound like we've gotten any quote yet, right? You have
we
no
did,
quote.
we did get one.
Okay,
We
did
did,
From what I brought up at the meeting, the question
Yeah.
coming in, what I was looking for then was a plan that says $1 million, 300,000 from this grant, 250,000 of their own money, all the way down to the bottom line, because I wanna know a simple thing. Is there a commitment to pay tax money to anything coming out of the treasury of this borough? That's what I wanna see. What's left at the bottom, if they're able to pay for this whole thing by what they're doing,
Well,
I'll stand behind 100%.
can I?
But if there's gonna be money taken out of the treasury of the borough, that I really wanna address.
Well, can I speak?
Please.
Mike investigated 2% loan through the state. It's currently at $329,019. We have $200,000 in the truck fund. So that's half the payment.
Dave, I sent you an email the other day that I'd gotten,
Yes, I
sent
saw
Terry about USDA has an equipment loan that's, right now, it's 4.25%.
I saw
Okay.
Okay, so how do you expect to do the other $500,000?
the LSA grant.
The state, isn't the state giving away, they just added another $30 million to a fund. The governor was just on TV for this. It's just on the news. They went from 30 million to 60 million in this fund for fire departments to get grants for equipment. Does anyone?
I never saw
It
that.
was just on the news today.
Before we even fill out a grant, we have to have quotes and prices, right?
the grant isn't even open yet, Tony.
Right, it's not open till when, September or something like that,
I
right?
believe it's September. The reason why we're doing this now is because we want to get our ducks in a row if council is on board to apply for that grant. So we can get the grant, our portion of it wrote, the estimate's done. Everything we need to do for this grant, prepare for it. If council's not going to approve it, then why go through all the steps? If there's no money to do a truck, we can't do it ourselves.
Well, no, I get that. My question is, and I don't know if Chuck's trying to say the same thing. I want all the information. The most information
We
you can get, me, big quotes, whatever.
we gave the quote of that something that we had. Tomorrow night, Fred will be here with All American. We're waiting on Pierce to set up a meeting.
Okay.
We are moving on our end, but there's only so much we can do, because we can't commit to any of them without saying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they should be able to give you quotes.
And that's what we're working on right now. And,
Written quotes. Written quotes.
and the reason why we're asking for this, well, yeah, that's what we gave for the something, and we gotta wait for the other guys to come.
I
never saw that. None of us saw it.
I don't remember seeing that either.
No.
We turned that in, didn't we?
No.
Well, Greg has it. I will
Okay.
make sure you receive it.
Is it 1.1?
So that's what I'm saying.
No, that was 985,000.
We're being asked to take the vote on this LSA grant, right?
Yeah, what we're asking for, Tony, is just approval to apply for it. We will have the quotes, and like we were saying, it's going to be approximately that number by talking to the different vendors. The reason why we're asking to apply for this grant is 5 years ago, we were in discussions with council and we were going to talk about splitting a new truck. At that time, the truck was $600,000, which was about a new engine for it. And we came back, had a truck committee going and everything, and basically, how would you say it, Dave? Basically got thrown out the door. And I'm not saying we need a new truck, there is no ifs, ands, and buts about it. But, you know, we're not going to make all these plans, put all these man hours in if we don't have any support.
Well, I'm not speaking for all of council, I speak for myself. I don't mind supporting, but I want the information.
I will get you the.
It's hard for me to vote on something if I don't know exactly what I'm voting on. You know what I mean?
Well, what we're asking you to vote on is the approval to apply for an LSA, which costs the borough no money to do.
But we still have to figure out a way to pay for it, because the LSA grant may come back and say they're only gonna give you so much towards it.
Correct.
So, and if that be the case, like Chuck said,
We have,
We have to have a
and we're not
plan.
going to know that until the grant.
no, I know that,
Well, here's-
but I want as much information as possible before I start saying,
Well, the reality is right about now, in order to try to get $1 million, and you're out here getting it in different pieces, if your plan shows all those different places, and if you got lucky and got it all, it would be 1.3 million. So when you start losing a piece here and there, you're still staying close to what you really need. And, I don't know how we're there. The last meeting, there is, Mr. Vacuum tabling a meeting for the Public Safety Committee about helping the Manor Volunteer Fire Department with the purchase of a new fire truck. So I don't know what that's gonna end up like after it comes out of committee, but, you know, realistically, to me, again, it comes down to the same thing. I have no problem of, we've gotta help them fill out grants. We have to use employees of the borough to help them get to where they need to be, that's fine. But when we cross that threshold, asking for $1 or $1 million, now we have a whole new issue. The issue then becomes, for me, the issue, if I've been asked at my company to have somebody wants to spend $1 million on something, I look for everything I possibly can to justify that, even so much as sending in a second person who's not affiliated at all with the requester. And they go in and they justify that, in this case, is that truck definitely dead? Is $1 million what has to be spent to bring that fire department into some kind of compliance? You know what I mean? I mean, we don't know all those things, and I just don't want to get caught in a trap later that says, look what they did.
Well, I agree with that.
Okay.
And all we're asking is for the solicitor to draft a resolution.
Yes.
That's all we're asking.
To do the grant, that's it, to outright
That's all
the
we're
grant.
asking for.
Because we're not asking to do, he's not asking to do an amendment that says that what you do tonight is guaranteeing the borough spending money. It's just the borough spending time to help them get this grant written. Am I correct?
But you have to know how
Yes.
much the grant's for, right? So you need to know how much money you need before you apply for the
No,
grant.
that should be.
So you don't know what it is because they don't have the 3 estimates to give you an average of what you want.
But the grant does not open until
We
September.
will have that estimate for it.
So maybe we're just one step ahead, maybe we.
No, we're not, we've been asking,
But all we're asking for is a resolution.
Right, the grant doesn't open until September.
Okay.
We are getting all of our ducks in a row. All we're asking is just say, yes, when the time comes, we're going to help you. So we're working on getting to that point that when the LSA grant opens, we'll have our 3 quotes, we'll have everything, actually, I think for the LSA.
That's
do we need 3 quotes?
They're not here asking for.
yeah, we're not asking
a
for
quote
money.
in
We're not
dollars.
asking for any money.
It's just that, can they start collecting what they need for their grant? And
Yes.
is Joe gonna be helping them? Who's gonna help them here at the borough? right?
Somebody on their side is gonna have to give me all the narrative information and all
Yes,
that,
exactly.
like Mike did for the radios.
Yeah.
Yes,
The borough
And that
has
is
to
exactly
apply
what's
for it,
going
and
on.
there's a $100 fee to apply for the LSA grant.
Okay, so if they meet all that criteria, you're just helping them put it in a form that could be accepted.
Well, it's not a form, I have to go online and actually fill out the grant application.
Okay.
And you pay.
Physically online and fill out the
The
grant
fire
application.
department does.
So if we're just helping them fill, if the grant says
My ducks are.
it's not you that should be applying, it should be your borough?
Yes.
correct.
If that's the case, and whether, even if it's accepted, we can't touch that money. We don't want that money. If something goes wrong between now and the day that whether we get it or not, it's still them. If for some reason they say after getting the grant, we don't have enough money to do it all, that money goes back to LSA and we're done. If we're that clean, we have nothing to worry about, then a resolution saying we'll help them write the grant, shouldn't hurt.
This is the
Delivery on a
same
truck
grant
is
we
like
already applied for.
No, it's
No, it's
not.
not.
It is
3
not.
years.
Almost.
Almost
It-
doesn't count.
Would you let me finish talking?
Well, you should have.
Don't interrupt. Don't be rude and don't interrupt.
Okay. Easy. Let her go.
So we've already applied for an LSA grant. We applied for the smaller LSA grant, the local. So now we're going after the state LSA grant, which is much larger. But it's the same type of principles where the fire department cannot, on our own, apply for it. The borough has to. We're not asking for anything from the borough except for that the borough has to apply for this. We're still doing all the work, just like when I was up here asking about the radios. It's the same type of grant. It's an LSA grant, it's just the bigger LSA grant. This is the statewide rather than the local.
Okay, so I need a motion.
Do you need a resolution to apply for it? Can't you just?
We've done that in the past, I think, Joe, that we did a resolution for I think the radios as well, we did a resolution for
I know
that.
we did, but I'm just asking, do we need to have a resolution to apply for it? I don't remember having
I don't
a
know that you-
resolution for the grant.
I don't know that
Do you remember,
you,
Mike? There has to be a resolution. Did we have to put one in with the grant? Yes. Okay.
well, because they wouldn't be able to apply for it any other way, and so they need to connect that privity between the municipality and allowing to go out for the grant on behalf of the.
And I'd like to add something, when we do this, we're not gonna do this blindsided, we are gonna pull the public safety committee and have meetings and include their input in this. And also, it's not you guys and us, and the fire department. This community is us, all of us together. It all counts. The police department is here to serve, fire department is here to serve, we don't get paid wages. Same with the library. You look at your places in town, fire department does the most fundraising out of anybody. To be self-supportive. And we're not asking for any money to do this, we're just asking, please help us apply for this grant. Jim will tell you, from years past, remember when we had that price before, Jim, what, $585,000 for that engine? Maybe 5 years ago? Yes. Because that's when new
2015.
development was gonna go in, and you said, hold off till the new development goes in, and it fell under the table. Where that farm was out on Rowell
I
Road.
remember us talking about it, but I don't remember exactly.
We had the prices and everything, and just look what happened in 5 years with these prices.
So basically, you're asking us to do is because you're afraid that council's gonna back out.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a simple answer.
Backing out of what?
Applying for the grant.
Okay. Okay, so I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
What is the motion? So I wanna-
Sorry, for the resolution for the fire truck Elvis a grant, help.
Okay.
Can I ask to add a little bit to that?
That
That the resolution include that we're instructing the solicitor to prepare a resolution that has the administration office and the fire department working in conjunction for an LSA grant for a fire truck.
amend.
You okay with that?
motion. Yes.
All right.
Okay, so do I have a second? She amended it. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Solicitor, do I have to abstain?
And not at this point, because there's no pecuniary interest, so you can vote on this.
Okay. Does this have to be a roll call or is this a normal?
No, it's a resolution, so you just can do it all in favor.
Okay, is there any further comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries.
Okay, council. If you need anything, just let us know, we'll get it to you.
And one other thing I'd like to add, this 2% loan, this 329,000 is not.
Yes.
Is what?
It's now, okay? It takes what, 2 or 3 years to have a truck built?
2.5 years.
So if you took that loan out now, along with your 200,000 you have in your truck fund, that gives you half the money right there.
That's what Dave was saying.
Yeah.
But the only issue with it is, the prices, if we ordered it today,
Yeah.
we get today's price.
Right, if you order 6 months ago, you
But
get.
just say I'm just gonna throw this out there, we ordered a new Pierce right now, Pierce engine. We'll get today's price for it, it may not come for 2.5 years.
Right.
You don't pay anything for 2.5 years, so that money that's sitting in the bank, they're not paying interest yet, until that loan comes, am I correct me on that? Am I right? We put a down payment on, but we don't borrow the money until delivery of the truck. That's what we've done in the past.
It's been so long since we got one.
Just so you know, typically with the grants, they don't just send you a check. You have to show like, that you have a purchase and you've made it, and you've paid for a lot of times paid for the purchase.
Right.
And you have to send them a canceled check to get reimbursed.
How's this one work?
Same.
Well, I think, I'm not sure about
They're gonna
the
have to be
statewide,
paid.
but I'm pretty sure that the
Right.
local one, I was told by another municipality that they had put in for one, I don't remember what it was for, but they had to pay for whatever it was and then show the canceled check and all that to get the grant reimbursement.
So if they get in that position, then they're gonna have to spend by whatever means $6 million before this money's gonna come back. And that could be half the money.
That is a possibility.
Pay 16% interest to borrow a lender.
Okay.
One other thing I want to tap into that, since you mentioned that, Jeff. Don't quote me on this, but when the city of Jeanette got their money to build the new fire station up there, I believe that was LSA through Kim Ward. And I can tell you that Jeanette can't put out $1 million. And, I don't know anybody in the state of Pennsylvania, well, maybe big cities.
Like I said, it was the local one, I think, that they told me about, so I'm not sure if the statewide one
Right.
works the same.
I think we know from what we just did with the resolution.
Well, we are
We're gonna
going to
move
be in
forward,
contact.
and we're gonna find that out.
We're sending Dave a person.
Good at the karaoke, we'll find her.
Yeah, that's it, but, we are going for this, and I wanna thank you for helping us and applying for this. And if this doesn't work, we'll be back to meet with you, trying to do something else. Okay? Thank you for your time. And
Yep.
good job.
No. Okay, so Donna, you have marked here agenda item and not an agenda item.
She put it here, both agenda.
Okay, so we're doing the agenda items? All right, Donna, you're up.
Okay, where are you on 14? Well, I know that I have a question about the zoning. So are you allowed to, I'm looking for the proper word that I had written down, spot change zoning in a residential area?
No.
Okay. Is that going to be changed? Is that something we're coming?
No.
So they can't change anything like in my neighborhood, the spot change from residential to commercial?
So the thing that you're referring to, they're asking for a variance, if I'm reading it correctly, which is not a spot change, it is a variance,
Okay.
okay?
Well, that's,
Wait.
okay, then it goes under that.
Donna, look at it this way. The variance
That was variance.
will give that house the right to do what they're asking for, but it does not change the zoning of that area.
It doesn't change the zoning, it doesn't drop the value of anybody's house.
Well, that's not a guarantee.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
that's what I want to find out. So you're allowed to change it. So anybody can ask for a variance to change the zoning to one house in my neighborhood,
That's by going to the zoning hearing board.
Monday.
If the planning and council got involved, it would be, something like that would be considered spot zoning, which is illegal.
Yeah, because, yeah, as I said, I know spots, so that's why I wanted to ask.
Yeah, good.
So I gave you the paper, did you ever get a hold of them people?
Yeah,
Did it go well?
not well at all.
Did you bitch a lot?
Quite a bit.
All right, well, I'll be back for that one. And the next one, I guess it's for the GPS on our police vehicles. That's the other one I had on there?
Yes.
Yeah. I think they all should have it. You should know where all your vehicles are and where your people are. I think they should put them in it.
Tell them why you had to put it
They're already in
on.
the police cars.
They already are in
They
police
they are in
cars?
the police cars, but not in the maintenance, like the dump trucks, backhoes, things of that nature. They're only in the police cars.
We figure school buses have them. My company's delivery vehicle has them. We can see where everybody's at. I mean, you know, it's your money, my money, their money, tax dollars, you know. You should find out if your guys are sleeping behind the bridge or something. You should know where they're at. Not that our guys do that, because we have, our road crew's good. I like our road crew. Our streets are clear. So, but yeah, but they should have it, huh?
Talking to Joe, he made a comment.
Hey, we've never had that many problems with our road crew, not for snow removal. And one last thing, means they're all doing a good job, Tony.
Thank you, Don.
You're welcome.
All right, Jerry Lewis?
Yes, am I recognized?
Yes.
President Goffel?
Yes.
Thank you. 14A.
A.
14A, discussion on the Manor Borough Code ordinances in its entirety. Now, the Planning Commission on Monday night made changes, but did you all get the changes today? We didn't. Why aren't they on the table so we can read them to discuss them?
So maybe I can help Jerry, tonight, what is gonna happen is it's gonna be open for inspection until next month's meeting for you to be able to see. So it's not gonna be adopted tonight.
Okay, thank you.
That might be.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to know.
Yes.
Are we gonna have a public meeting on it, Solicitor
We will
Dice?
have a public meeting at the next meeting. We will not be having a public hearing. The reason why we're not having another public hearing is because the changes have not been so significant and we haven't changed any of the zoning of the land. So under the MPC, when you go through the process of amending or adopting a whole new zoning ordinance, which was set, we did a public hearing originally, and the changes that were made at the planning commission level that we'll discuss later were addressing the concerns of the public that were raised at that public hearing. And we didn't make, like, changing, we're no longer allowing mobile homes somewhere, or we didn't do anything substantial. It was more of cleaning. First, we did clean up typographical errors that are also in spacing that is in the ordinance, but as well as like Westmoreland County, when they reviewed it, and I explained it at the public hearing, they wanted additional, or they recommended additional definition for tenant. So we put that in there. There was issues with sheds, whether the size, there was a complaint at the public hearing about we wanted larger shed sizes. So Planning Commission looked at that and they increased the shed size. So again, we are following the MPC, and as long as it's not substantial, you're not changing the land zoning, which we didn't do. There's no recommendation to change what is it was previously zoned and what it was set forth at the last public hearing. So therefore, we have to send it back to the county for review, and then council can adopt it at their next meeting, but it needs to be advertised twice in the newspaper.
Okay. Question.
Yes.
So Mr. Cherry explained yesterday that if we wanted amendments to this, because there is a lot of errors in this thing. I have beat this, I have talked to people who know zoning and that, and do we put in amendments before next meeting, what is really supposed to be in here? Because you're saying that you're changing old 27 on the E360,
To this,
chapter 27 to this one.
correct.
But the same things that you didn't have on 27, and you're putting on the white sheet that says open spaces and everything, no, all that kind of stuff.
The use table.
Usage isn't really explained in the zoning.
So that use table is very common in zoning ordinance, the way they do it. If I printed out the ordinance, but I don't think I brought my use table.
Let me kind of speed that up.
Sure.
I think I understand what you're looking. Jerry, first of all,
Hold on, Chuck, I cannot hear you with the trains. Thank you,
can
sir.
you hear me now?
No,
I'll have to.
I can't hear you with the trains.
Jerry, the thing I
Thank
need
you.
you to understand is, first of all, when you read this, we can all, by our own backgrounds, figure out another way to write a sentence. But we can't do that in this type of document, because it has to go through legal writing. The reason why is if it's ever challenged in a court of law, it stands because it was written in the legal parameters acceptable by the courts. So because we may want to change something to another thing, if it is kicked out of that box that our solicitor has to write in, we can't do it. If it's kicked out because it doesn't fit in the county plan, we can't do it. When I talked about it with the amendments, and most of the ideas that were discussed that should be amendments are actually in here as changes, and that's the reason why it's going to the county. What I wanted to do was make most of these become amendments after it gets passed,
Okay?
which is the acceptable way to move this document along. Because you can put amendments in at any time, in a group, send them all through at the same time. So, the way it's prepared now, it's not like, and I think I explained this Monday night, it's not like it throws a wall up that says, it's in there, it's under glass, you can't do anything with it, you can't touch it. That's not the case. Once it's put in effect, if it starts to affect people, they need to just come in, put it in, there are questions about it, and in some cases, it will make enough sense to put an amendment in the book. And if we have a few of those, which we have a few that haven't made it to here, we will have amendments in the future. Because otherwise, we could sit here and beat on this thing all night long and come up with 10 more things, just to find out that they may or may not fit. So that's what the amendments are for.
But that's the amendments after you go ahead and pass
It
this.
doesn't make them less enforceable.
Okay.
Amendments will become as strong as the original document itself.
Okay, so for the next planning meeting, like Solicitor Dice said, when would I forward my stuff to the planning commission to look at?
You can do it anytime,
Okay,
but
And-
remember, at the next planning commission meeting, those won't take it up. What we vote on tonight can only be contingent upon getting back a letter from Westmoreland County saying we agree with what you did.
oh,
So we have to wait until the next council meeting before we start planning those amendments. So they won't be in April, they would be ready, they should be ready for May. We can work on them in April, but we can't present them till May.
so Solicitor Dyson and Mr. Cherry, so what you're saying, you are presenting the zoning ordinance that you prepared to council tonight to vote on?
No,
No,
Not as an accepted document.
okay.
you're gonna have 30, we're gonna vote on it next month. At next month's regular business meeting. But it'll be in the office to review. We can also tonight.
Put it on website, please.
Well, that can be part of the person's motion to do that as well, to make sure it's on the website for people to access. Okay?
What was the other one? Yeah, the GPS is in the police car. Police cars, you taking them out or keeping them in?
We're having a discussion.
We're having a discussion about it, I questioned it.
Well, I'm asking. Cause Ed put them in to make sure where all the cars were. I don't know if he was being a nebby or what the hell he was doing, but anyway. Sewage billing options, starting January the 1st, 2026. Do tell.
The company that does our sewage billing has told us that they will no longer be doing it as of 2026. So we have to have a discussion on some plans. So we don't get surprised come January 2026.
And vote no on Christina leaving. She did a great job, really a good job. She should be congratulated for that. That's it, thank you.
Thank you. Mayor's report?
I got nothing.
Solicitor's report.
What are you laughing
I
about?
do need executive session.
What are you laughing about?
All right.
Engineer's report?
Cause you, when I said something about the planning commission.
No, I didn't. I didn't even hear half of what you were saying.
Huh?
I didn't even hear half of what you were saying. Well, he's supposed to have a big case.
The main work performed in Calvi's primarily restoration work of the curb and sidewalks and restoration of the pavement. We're still waiting on the MAWC to begin work on the water line relocation on Oak Street. The pipe was shipped from the manufacturer but has not arrived at the MAWC shop yet. I don't recommend paving Oak Street or McKelvey Street this year. With the final
You'll
coat
pick on
because the
me.
sanitary sewer lines need to be televised 15 months after completion of the work. We don't really know when the completion of the work will be on Oak Street at this moment. All of the trench lines will be patched, but there could be problems where if it doesn't pass, the CCTV goes really out the road. We pave it, that's not the best situation for the road. Estimates have started on Observatory Street, but I don't have them completed. That was the other street that we were interested. Plus, I think there was another small.
Oh, I know what that's for.
Second Street.
Family extension,
Okay. That was connected to,
Second Street.
okay. That's all I have.
And when, they're just cammering those lines, they're not testing the manholes as well?
Oh, yeah, they'll all be,
Okay,
all be pressure
okay.
tested, there'll be manuals pulled through. Yeah, everything, the manholes are pressure tested, the pipe will be pressure tested, the manuals will be pulled through, all of that will be done.
Gotcha. Thank you.
We know what that means.
Zoning officers report, anything from Jason? No. Borough managers report?
Just a reminder, we got all the statements of financial interest in your due May 1st, and we received our liquid fuels payment for this year in the amount of $105,395.09.
Everyone's received a copy of the treasurer's report. What are the wishes of council?
Make the motion to accept it as submitted.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Everybody should receive a copy of the tax collector's report. What are the wishes of council?
I'll make a motion to accept as submitted.
We have a second?
Second. Second.
Any comments or questions?
She is too.
All those in
I
favor?
can't hear a word she says.
She always speaks.
Opposed? The motion carries. Committee reports. Buildings and properties.
Yeah, he has nothing as usual. Wait till the banger
A
comes.
little bit in the last meeting, at least a comment that when the building and properties meet, you want to know you may want to.
I will appreciate it.
Not a problem.
He got good
The
news
one thing that we
today.
did since then was, from the January meeting, there was discussion about adding another building down here. And that's what, Dave and I got together with Joe to get more information from him about it. And after discussion here at the building, we went down to the maintenance building to see what the issue was of what they couldn't fit in, because we just bought, equipment. And now all of a sudden, we're out of space. So it's almost like we, blocked the horse and didn't get the barn. Didn't realize we needed a barn to go with that horse.
Well-
So we went down to look at it.
Just so you're aware, I knew that the barn was not big enough for the horse.
I didn't know that when
I
yeah.
don't know if I even said
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
So,
I don't think it's been big enough for a long time.
this conversation, I had brought it, and Joe and I have discussed this multiple times. I know that we had talked about it last year or the year before with the old committee.
All the new stuff we just bought, we have it packed in, so it kind of has a home right now.
Yeah, I saw it that day, and that day I stuck around long enough to wait for the maintenance department to pull the trucks in.
It's tight.
Everything is inside.
It's tight.
It's tight, but everything is inside.
Yeah, with the exception of the slides in the back of it.
Well, they've been out since before buying that equipment.
That is
They weren't
correct.
in before because the
Right.
trucks take up the space.
Right.
So those are always left outside.
Yes.
And the new equipment is under roof.
Correct.
So rather than jumping into trying to put a commercial type building in a residential district, I think another plan needs to be looked at.
Are you guys planning on looking at that one?
No, I think what we're gonna do is a little homework on coming up with a better way to do it. And you know, I'm still along the same ideas that you have a big enough space down there, you just have one thorn in it, and the best way to get rid of that thorn is to build at least another building before we build another maintenance building in another location.
So that should be your goal.
Well, we're gonna look at what can be done on that site, because you gotta keep in mind, it goes from the bridge, the use of it, not
Correct.
maintenance
Correct. I know
department.
what you're talking
From the road to the bridge, all the way around the corner, and all the way down to the police. Then the police have a spot, and then there's a Jersey barrier division, and then there's more all the way up to, almost to the bridge at the park. So, you know, it makes more sense to allow that maintenance department to be from one section all the way to another section, and take that police department out of there and try to figure out what to do with it. I know I've come up with suggestions before, and there's always just enough to say, oh, no, we don't wanna move that one, we don't wanna do that one. Well, I think we need to take a look at that before we, again, I think you know from a lot of municipalities, what it does in a municipality when you start overtaking and placing for convenience things in different locations. And the reality is, this salt bin is a perfect example. You're welcome to Manor Burrows, look right into a salt bin coming from that way. That should have, they really had more homework done to try to figure out if there's any other place or somehow or something. And it just, it's not a good idea to now put one across the street from it. It's gonna be a commercial type building in a residential district. just my opinion.
Okay. Well, the committee's gonna meet to try to
Yeah,
figure some stuff
we'll
out.
chat about it and then get to a
Will I
point
at
of a
least
meeting.
get an invite, because I'd appreciate the invite.
Yes, but we'll probably do some homework first.
I mean, that's fine,
Right,
you
and get
guys
it to
are
a
calling.
point. Well, yeah, when we sit down, I wanna have some hard evidence that says what's a good idea. And then we'll have that meeting.
Before you, Chuck, I know you saw the email I sent out about the sign, the V-shaped sign. He needs, I don't know who wants to do this, he needs an exact location over there where the existing sign is, where we want that sign. For right now, with the contractor having the Sandy Hill lot all tied up, we're not gonna be able to do anything with that. I can't get the electrical guy in to put the pole in for that sign, but he requested paint X on the ground and then a stake in the ground to where where we want that V-shaped sign.
Well, let me ask you
And I'm not
this.
sure what the PennDOT right of way is there. Ed probably has that.
Yeah, he has that. And are we past the, having the engineer do survey work, give it to Chelsea go to the courthouse? Are we past all that?
I don't know.
Does anybody know?
What we have is Ed did a survey, I have a survey. I don't have meets and bounds, but you did do that.
I have meets and bounds too.
So I can do that, and as soon, if I get the meets and bounds from him, I can go to county and then they can issue a tax parcel ID number for Manor Borough, and then I do what's essentially like a quick claim deed.
Well, I appreciate that process, but I'll tell you how I feel about it. You've been on that site.
There's no-
I've been here now 35 years, something like that. Signs have been in that location since I got here.
Right,
At least
so,
one was, let's put it that way.
from a
So
legal.
the reality is, nobody's gonna knock on our door and say, get your sign off of there. We go through the process, we're gonna end up with it then anyway, if anyone ever does. And who could come, but if you look at the land around it, it's the surrounding landowners 99% of the time. It's PennDOT or the railroad.
What about PennDOT?
They don't care.
Once we put the visual sign in,
They don't, you're gonna be out of the right of way is all they're gonna ask.
Just likes to hear himself all the time.
they're not gonna care about sight distance.
No, we have to care about sight distance
I'm
because
talking
we
about like
can't.
somebody coming out of the
Yeah,
tunnel.
we can't set that in a location that someone hits it and causes themselves injury. So it's not so much the sign you gotta worry about, it's people getting hurt. But the reality also is we can put up the 4-foot, pipe with concrete in it, that, what do we call that?
Pipe ballers.
Pipe, yeah. So that's the worst scenario. But the reality, more importantly, is that sign has to be able to be seen coming down the hill and up under the bridge.
Okay, so here's.
So I'll be more than glad to go and take a peek at it.
Do we need Ed to
I
mark
just
it
need
out?
him to
then?
tell me how wide that right of way is.
Well,
Do we need Ed to go over and mark it out since he knows the right
Being
of way?
hurt, it's a good idea.
I couldn't get off.
okay. Anything else? On buildings and property? Good. Community betterment, Parks and Rec?
Parks and Rec, I know that there's going to be a rec board meeting, and they have some plans, coming up for, that they'd like to see that.
There will be a record meeting.
And I know I'll wait to the next one,
Which one?
the one I reported on for the other.
Well, why don't you wait till we get that?
Okay, just that one.
Okay, so that one's good?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all done.
Personnel and finance?
We had a meeting last week to discuss the sewage billing options, which we'll go over later, so that's it.
Okay. Okay, Don, community outreach and communications?
We are looking, it was requested by a resident that instead of just saying we're working on things to, if we can, state what we're working on.
Okay.
One of the programs that we are trying to incorporate and we're working together with, Trafford, who's already started, and, Junior Intergovernmental, Council. And so there's a lot that goes with that, and that's what we've been working on.
Okay.
I have a
Anything else?
question. May I ask the question of Dawn?
Jerry, technically, no. Can you see her after the meeting?
No, I'll just put it all in the newspaper and stuff now.
Okay.
Did you not let me talk and ask the question?
Is there anything else, Tom?
No, like I said, that's all for now.
Okay. Planning and zoning.
I'd like to make a motion to, add in.
But it says in the resolution, you can raise your hand and ask the question.
So with 14A, whether you want to move, I think in case you have any other business executive sessions or anything, how about if we move my planning and zoning report down to before 14A? How's that?
Okay, you just want to make it part of 14A?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, public safety and public works?
The only thing is, myself and Dave Longowear met with Chief Stutz, and we discussed a little bit about what their plans are for the fire department, which was already discussed tonight, so you already pretty much know what that meeting is about.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Old business? Discussion and or deliberation and or official action on the Manor Borough zoning ordinance and replacing chapter 27 of the Manor Borough Code of Ordinance in its entirety. Go ahead.
That is the book you have in front of you. I think we've used a case of paper to borrow, printing it out.
Probably.
And many times it's been printed out, it should be there. So that most recent one you got is the current one. Monday night, the planning commission met with residents, and members have brought in things that were discussed, letters that were sent to the Secretary Bonnie. So everything that has come in since the last time that ordinance was here was discussed in length and reviewed and gone over on Monday. Well, at a typical 6:30 meeting, we walked out the door at just about 11.
Just say
So,
it's not the way it is. Just say it.
In that, all of these changes that you list you've
You'll
gotten
get the
from the
cops.
solicitor, those were changed by her either very late Monday night or yesterday.
She's working her ass off.
So, those are already in there. Other, issues that had been brought up that didn't have the abilities to be put in so easily like this, we discussed amendments. And amendments will be such that we can pick a meeting date. And let's say that it is the second upcoming, I'm not gonna commit this yet, second to upcoming meeting. And in there, we'll be looking at amendments to the zoning ordinance. So at that point, we will hear the issues. For example, we had the one about the gentleman you sent to us about chickens. So we're hearing that now, but because of the length of it and the detail of it and the issues that surrounding that issue, we're treading a little carefully to get it right. So we're coming in as an amendment rather than hold up the old stuff.
So one of the things I don't see on this list that, and I think Bonnie, you brought this up, was the solar panels.
That's going under the amendment.
That's gonna go under an amendment.
Yes.
The other thing is here, I thought we had a conversation about the Sunday time change.
That's in there,
But
under.
it's saying it didn't change.
No, it did change in the sense that we are operating
But the idea behind telling someone you can't work on Sunday, you're telling them you can't have anyone come to their home.
You can't, and all.
You're telling them, according to the ordinance, it says, it states, you cannot do business on a Sunday, have people arrive at your business, your home, on a Sunday, period.
All day long, let's look at this way, all day long traffic.
No, listen, that's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
No one, that's what the ordinance says, and I just don't agree with that. I
Yeah,
don't.
so,
well, how do you do that, how do you do that for the neighbor then?
If you're doing it 6 days a week now, what's the difference of Sunday? What is the difference? It's no different than the other 6 days you're doing it. It doesn't change anything. It does not change a single thing. If the neighbors didn't want it to begin with, then they would have been there at the zoning hearing board to protest that. The business is there, you know,
But maybe you don't understand the home business
I
idea.
understand what a home business
Is
is.
a quiet business inside the home is
I
the
understand
general
what it is.
understanding of it.
I do.
No,
You're
I'm
only
not.
supposed to have a little
Can't
name
be
plaque.
strong.
It's not supposed to be a wide open type business.
I understand
So
that.
you think that it is okay that if the business is afforded that ability to be in a residential district, running a business.
Is your business
do
in your
you
house?
think-
Is your
do you-
business
wait a
in your
minute.
house?
Do you think that the neighborhood does not deserve one day that maybe
Enough for
the
smoke.
owner
I got a question
tells
for
the
you.
traffic a little bit, and everybody moves on happy, or the cars coming one after another, all 7 days a week is okay with you?
Is your business in your home, or do you have an office somewhere else?
I have offices,
But do you do business at home?
I sure do.
Do people come to your home?
Nope,
No one comes to your house?
nope,
All the cars in your driveway, no one comes to your house?
they're all mine.
so I do want you to know that this planning commission argued over it. They ultimately got a majority vote to do it this way. Council can vote to adopt the entire ordinance and change that portion of it if they choose at the next meeting. Include Sundays or not include Mondays. It's up to
Yeah, but we
council
don't,
what
but
they want to
again,
do.
though, we don't wanna send it to the county again, and then something get changed next
Well-
month, they have to change it, send back there again. We're better to hash it out tonight
I don't think
before
you're
we
gonna be able
send
to
it
hash
to
it
the
all out
county.
tonight, we just got this, right? I don't want to hash it all
He
out.
just got it.
No, this has been out for 18 months.
The changes you just did the other day. I mean,
No, the entire ordinance.
Correct, but the changes you just did on Monday, we just got, it's 7
You
o'clock.
just got the revisions.
Yeah,
That's
but
all.
what Chuck is saying is.
Anybody ever
Everything
came
was
to the
agreed
Monday
upon,
meeting?
except for the changes.
Correct. So you
I
need to have at
can't,
least
they just got the
read
revisions,
changes
they
on
had it.
Well, we can't vote on anything tonight.
So what you do need to vote on tonight is we need to send it to the county, and I need permission to advertise for next month's meeting, that it'll be on the agenda for the public to come in. So
I thought they were supposed
I
to.
have to do that under the MPC.
No,
That's what I got mine.
when you're talking about traffic, Chuck, I understand that this is a home-based business that produces a ton of traffic.
Right.
There are a lot of home-based businesses here that is one car at a time.
I hear you.
So if that bothers a neighbor on a Sunday, that one car, honestly, I could have family over and I could produce 10 cars.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. We discussed all that. That's exactly how it would end up.
This is like a repeat of the planning commission
okay,
argument.
so that's what I'm saying.
What he's
So
saying is
basically,
nobody knows,
difference.
so don't say anything and just move
Well,
on.
until a neighbor gets mad at you and starts bringing it up.
Reports it. Right.
So then it does
Then
become a
it's the
problem.
proof of, I guess, the burden of proof.
Well,
Right.
and that's the thing.
And there are instances where people post online and maybe 9 o'clock at night, oh, I just sold this to my friend, and here's a picture of us doing the transaction. Well, it shouldn't have happened on a Sunday night at 9, and well, then you get a cease and desist order for manners. So there
That
are
happened
ways
here already.
to enforce that.
It did.
However, you guys need to decide whether you're gonna allow it 24/7 or do what the planning commission recommended, which you have an opportunity to amend when you adopt the ordinance. So you
But
won't.
you should do that tonight because what changes
Well,
go to the county If that has to be
You
changed for next
can't-
month, it should be discussed and changed tonight.
I can't send it to the what I can only do, Chuck, is send what the planning commission recommended to the county. I can't have you guys changing what was adopted on Monday night.
That's right.
Council at their next meeting, when it's been duly advertised and out for inspection, council then can change, as long as it's, that's de minimis to me, whether you have it
But
24.
that's what we did Monday night.
I get
Monday
it.
night, we tried to keep it so we would not
Have to go back to the county.
So we don't have to go back to the, my point is, we will not have to go back to the county after council votes on it, if they choose to change it to Monday through Sunday.
Or there can still be an amendment and really go
Right.
through whatever time it takes to get it to some degree. But, the people who all discussed this was the only thing that they came up with to fix. Because how people could still run their business, but at the same time, how are you courteous to the neighborhood? That's all.
Solicitor.
Yeah.
We need also bring up about, like, the person that has a woodworking,
Oh, she's
home
going straight.
business,
Yes.
that they're doing it in their garage. And the noise also affects.
But the regulations already require, or already do not let the home occupation allow for violating the noise ordinance. It's in there already. So regardless of the time that the service or whatever that individual is doing, it's already prohibited if it's, wait, I have it right here.
There's also a noise.
Yeah, I just want you to, I'm just looking for it. I'm sorry. The home occupation shall not emit smoke, fumes, odor, dust, noise, vibration, glaring light, visible, bright, or pollution of any kind. So if somebody's in their woodworking shop making all this noise, whether it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon or midnight, and it violates the noise ordinance, you are gonna be able to regulate that. Okay?
You don't even have the
Or your police.
decimeter for the police.
Okay?
I have a question slash comment. I just passed out our driveway ordinance, which is a standalone driveway ordinance from a few years ago. And when I read the changes for the driveways in the new zoning ordinance, are in conflict with what's in the driveway, access driveway ordinance. I don't know if you guys were aware of that or looked at that.
What degree? What degree are they in conflict?
Well, it says you can have 50% of your frontage as driveway opening.
Yes.
Well, the driveway, the access driveway ordinance does not say the same.
Well, then at that point, when this goes through, that'll have to be amended.
Because there's nothing in this chapter 27 ordinance that says anything in conflict with this is going to be repealed or it's not going to take.
Right, so you actually, because it's last time, the new ordinance, if it got adopted, would supersede the driveway ordinance,
But the
but
driveway ordinance isn't part of chapter 27.
it doesn't matter because it's in conflict. Last in time ordinance would be the one that's in effect. That being said, now that we know that, because I didn't know that there was a driveway ordinance either, the reason why we increased the driveway width or whatever to 50, it was 25 to 50%, we went from 25% to 50%, was because the public was complaining about, they wanted to park vehicles in the front yard. And we want to avoid any type of vehicle being parked on grass on your front yard.
But that doesn't say it has to be paved.
It does not say it has to be paved, you're correct.
So they can still have a 50.
No.
I mean, if you have a 100-foot wide lot, they can make 50 foot of that a driveway
This
opening.
is my negligence of not,
And they can pull in their front yard.
No,
I should have written the whole
that's not our
thing.
intention to do it that
I'm
way.
not saying that's your intention,
No,
that's just what I read.
It's up to Chelsea to write it this way, but she knows what we're doing.
I didn't write the whole thing in the email for you, and that's my mistake. I should have written the whole thing.
Look
We
at it this
actually
way.
did write.
If you have a ranch or a two-story house, all houses, I don't know very many of them that the garage is in the middle of the house. It's usually off one side or the other, you know? Usually the low side, if it's on a hill. But the idea is to give everyone the ability to widen their driveway from where the driveway exists, away from the house and the rest of their yard. So you don't bring it towards the front door. You bring it from where it is to, if it's a right side driveway and garage, you will continue to the right to make that your additional off-street parking. It has to be either an impervious surface like pavement or concrete, or it can easily be gravel, but it has to be free and clear of weeds, that kind of thing, because the idea, keep the heat off the keep the weeds off the catalytic converter. So you can widen your driveway, and if we leave the driveway curb cut as it is, you're doing nothing but making a T or an L. So that's not gonna work, because now they all have to come out the same hole. So now, just like a two-car driveway that has a two-car garage, that width is already in our borough. It's wide enough to go to either one of your garages from the street. We're giving people the ability to widen it like that is, and now they will have double the width, but instead of them both going to the garage door, one's gonna be going towards the side of the house.
And
So when they
Joe,
wrote that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just want you to know that we wrote it, and we said 50%, and then went on to say, the surface must be impervious or gravel and shall not be vegetative states. In non-residential district, driveway access shall be permitted. Oh, that's the same language, but we ended up saying that you had to have either impervious surface or gravel.
But you also have in here, for single-family attached dwellings, i.e. a duplex. Well, duplex isn't a single-family dwelling.
Well, because,
Is it a multi-family dwelling?
well, no, it's two single-family. It's not a multi-family, a multi.
Because they're each in their own individual.
Correct,
Okay.
yeah.
But it's 2 units, it's allowed.
And I understand what Chuck's saying, when that ordinance was written, it was because the Saldo wasn't clear. There was people in the borough that were building houses with 3-car garages, and they wanted a wider garage, and the thing in the Saldo was a little restrictive. So that's why they came up with that, so the width of your garage doors dictated the width of your driveway opening
Is there an
just in the
old
borough's
Saldo?
right of way.
Yeah,
Beyond that, you can make the
How
driveway
do I get
clear
a
out as
copy
wide
of
as you want.
It's on 360.
yes. But our,
But this is saying that you
our
can
goal
have.
is to give them the extra.
We were trying to give them that,
Driveway
because
access.
that's a huge complaint by residents about,
There was 2 people that wanted to park trailers, I remember travel trailers in their front yard, which,
we don't want that, so we want it on a driveway or a graveled area that appears to be like a driveway. We don't want it just willy-nilly having vehicles parked up on your lawn.
I guess my comment,
You're not dictating which way to go. He's saying to the right, but you're not. It doesn't say that in anything you read. So
You're correct.
You could go, what you would like is one thing, but what it could be is, I could go from the edge of my garage, if my lot's 100 feet, for what he says, I could go 50 feet almost to my front door if I want to, and make that a driveway.
That's not what our
But
intent,
that's
and what,
your intent, but what it says are 2 different things.
that's not my right. I'm gonna listen.
That's my fault.
I agree with what you're saying.
About it, we're gonna get nowhere. Listen
Listen
carefully.
carefully.
The idea is what I
I'm getting
told
the
you to
gavel.
explain,
Like that.
and she
Tell
will
me to
write it
listen
up that way.
carefully.
What's that?
I said, don't tell me to listen carefully. I'm not quite sure who you think you are, but don't talk to me like that.
Listen,
I'm asking a question.
if you're gonna get aggressive with me to
I'm
ask a
calling the
question-
cops.
I'm not getting aggressive, but I can't.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen.
I can't.
Relax.
Yep.
Relax.
I'm not that guy, Chuck.
Hey, I'm not either.
All right, all right.
If you're, if I'm trying to explain it to you, you don't wanna
Then
hear
you
it.
explain it in a nice way. Don't talk to me like that.
Okay.
I did explain it a nice way.
You didn't.
So I guess my question, just so I understand this, because I brought up one more question on it. If somebody has a 100-foot wide lot, frontage, left to right, 50% of that could be driveway opening. As long as it's gravel or impervious paved, whatever.
Yes.
They can have 50 feet across his driveway, all the way up to the front of their house, whatever it is, and they can park whatever they want there. So they wanna have cars, they wanna have motorhomes, travel trailers, work trailers, they can line them all up across the front of it. Is that really what we want in a residential neighborhood? I wouldn't wanna see it in my neighborhood.
Oh, here we go.
You have to understand, we've had so many people hammer that, it was the only thing so far, is to get the vehicles from being all over the grass in every different direction, to get what you just described. Line them up from where the garage door is, away from the front door, line them up this way, and if it's a 25-foot driveway now, in a 100-foot yard, a 100-foot lot, you're gonna have 50 feet, but it's gonna go from the existing driveway away from the front door. So you're not gonna have that cars sitting in front of the house.
I'll give you an example of one in one of the neighborhoods I know we had complaints. Somebody owned a business, they would bring their landscaping dump truck trailer home, and people would complain it was parked on the street, which there was nothing that said it couldn't be parked on the street. When you do this, you'll allow them to have half of their front yard as driveway, and they'll be parking their business dump truck, their business trailers, and everything else in their front yard, if they choose. And I'm not sure that's what most people want in an R1 housing development. That's just a comment, so.
I get it, I understand what you mean.
Because you'll have more complaints if you allow this
I'm surprised she's not
than
saying.
if you find a better solution for this.
Yeah, but that's what the planning commission went over, is the solution is to get them out of the grass, get them out of the quote front yard, meaning that section in front of the front door, and have them go off to one side, which already has cars parked. So realistically, what all people are gonna get out of this in a residential district, they're gonna get their existing driveway, and they're gonna get another one beside it, and then they're gonna, any more than that.
What
they're
about
gonna be on
somebody
the
that
road.
has a rear garage and they have a driveway, they're still gonna be able to make the whole front of half their front of their yard a driveway.
If they have a rear driveway, wouldn't they be the driveway, rear garage, wouldn't the driveway be off one side of the house?
It is on one side, but
Okay,
you're saying half of their frontage can be driveway. So they can expand that halfway any direction across their frontage,
No,
park cars
that's-
in their front yard.
No, that's, maybe what's on there, the way it's written today, but that is not what the intention of what we went over.
Regardless of intent, that's how we
You
had
had,
it.
you had that side driveway, you would only go off that side driveway, you can't come back towards.
But I don't see anywhere in here.
You had setbacks, you had setbacks, right?
They wanted it off either side, but not in the middle. I don't think she
My
put it.
driveway
in.
is right on the property line. And my driveway is behind my house.
Okay.
So I can't go other than in front of my house.
You're right, that means there's nothing in here that's gonna help you with the extra driveway.
Why? Because it doesn't say that.
I can't hear,
It does not say that I can't go, like,
Any
if
direction.
you're looking at my house, to the left is the property.
I know, we're still beating on that, but Chelsea can fix that, because that, what I'm telling you is exactly what was discussed at the planning commission meeting. And that is our recommendation. If with this being written this way, doesn't fully describe that.
It doesn't.
Okay, but then that's the problem, because I'm telling you exactly how the board described it and voted on it.
So,
So
nothing
I
in the
got,
middle.
not that I
There's
would.
nothing in the middle of the yard, is that what you're saying?
That's what we're trying to figure out, because this doesn't say, it just says 50 feet. You're telling us that the board said it's 50 feet to the left or the right, but 50%. Technically, like
Oh, it's
Jim, you
another
can
shit
really
show
do it
night.
50% towards the middle of his yard.
Well, again, It may not be written that way yet because it happened Monday night. So that can be fixed.
Here's what, I think a way to get around this, and it would be again.
But I got one more thing, Chelsea, before you say it, because, so, we're gonna allow 50% more driveway. When the people were here talking about parking in the grass, there wasn't many people that was parking like all the time. That was just people people were coming over to their house, they didn't have enough parking, so people were parking in the yard. So we're gonna allow them to put a driveway 50% of their property for maybe they have a Super Bowl party. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand, but that was, let's put it this way, that was in the discussion, but not part of the decision that they made. In the discussion, it was as simple as, somebody had said something about, I go to the store, and sometime I swing my car around, and I back it up towards the front door in the grass, and I unload it and pull out. Am I in violation? In essence, no. This is for parking cars, as in, the description was, it's a husband and wife, they have 2 cars. They have a 1-car driveway, 1-car garage. They are today moving cars back and forth to get each other out. And now they have teenage children, and they're thinking they're gonna have a couple more cars. Now they take, again, right side, garage and driveway. They take and add another driveway beside it to the right, away from the front door, giving them at least as close to an aesthetic appearance as you can get, because you're not covering the front door with vehicles. And now they have 4 outside compared to 2. That seemed to satisfy everybody's feeling for, how do you not turn the neighborhood into a junkyard?
Right, I
At
get
the
that.
same time,
I'm
get
just
people
saying,
that
which is the lesser of the 2 evils?
So let me just say this, I think, first of all, what we did was we said trailers, utility, commercial, or travel trailers, motorized recreation vehicles may be stored in a driveway. And what we could do is, and this area where we talk about driveways and the 50%, is take that out, reference our current ordinance, and if we want to amend our current ordinance without having to go through public hearing, because council can, you don't have to go to planning to amend this ordinance, we can amend the current ordinance about driveways to give a side gravel area to be able to park, and we can add that into this current ordinance. That way then, because you have a whole bunch of additional regulations in the current ordinance that are not in here, but we're still saying you have to keep all of your trailers, utilities, and everything on a driveway. How does that happen? So this makes you put it on a driveway, and this tells you how large your driveway can be.
So this ordinance is the same thing.
I'm hearing, it is very confusing. The way it's written right now is very confusing.
It's very confusing. I don't disagree.
So.
But as she said, she's gonna be able to fix that in this driveway ordinance.
So I think that's the
To
way
describe
to
that.
address it is to say, in our new zoning ordinance that we may adopt. What, are you confused?
Well, the driveway ordinance now.
Yes.
Does everything that he wants to do, with the exception of the right of way, the first, you're 50 feet offset, right, Joe? Off the center of the road.
Yeah, most of the newer developments.
So, once you get past that, 20 feet, 25 feet into your driveway, you could go as wide as you want. So that gives you everything you want without having that in the ordinance.
Correct.
Saying that it could go to that,
So we just put in the zoning ordinance, reference the driveway ordinance,
And
and
that's it,
say,
and
in
you're
the
done.
zoning ordinance, no trailers can be parked unless they're on a driveway. So resident, figure out how to make your driveway larger, satisfying.
And then we have a definition, a new definition in here for a driveway. Like car definition for a driveway, I guess.
We did not put a new definition in for a driveway, no.
Well, what about when someone decides to say that it's in a driveway, but we don't know what a driveway is?
Yeah, but like she said earlier, the zoning ordinance says they have to be off-street and driveway. The ordinance she's gonna amend after that is gonna be the one that says how wide curb cuts.
What we
I was
can,
more interested in the definition of.
we can
driveway.
add a definition
I
to
think
the
it's
drive,
in there.
Yeah,
so,
it's in the front.
yeah, there is every entrance or exit used by vehicular traffic to and from properties abutting a highway. The term includes proposed streets, lanes, alleys, courts, and ways.
I mean, I know there was people that had an issue with it, but I know one person that complained has their travel trailer parked square in their grass in their yard. When they have a space next to their driveway that's gravel, that they could back it in.
Right, so
And
this
that's-
zoning ordinance.
That's what this would do, is it would force them to get it out of the grass, put it in there, you know. It's to help people get these vehicles, you know, where they can still keep them, but give them the ability to allow them to open another driveway. Our curb cut ordinance is another one. You can't have two curb cuts.
Right.
No, just,
That's why we have to make this a continual
you can
curb
have,
cut.
you can have, in the drive, access drive ordinance, it talks about one per residential property, and you can get a second one that you have to, request it, and council can approve it on a case-by-case basis.
And in this case, it's gonna, the zoning ordinance and the amendment of the driveway, it'll give them the ability to do
Yeah, and
that
that's-
with a permit.
yeah, and that's fine.
With a permit.
Okay. Is there anybody else want to discuss, or we can?
I need you to do a motion though
Yeah.
for advertising
Yes.
and to send to the county.
I'll make a motion to, direct the solicitor to advertise the zoning ordinance for a public hearing.
No,
or
public meeting.
Excuse me. And to send, the
Yes.
changes in her letter dated
Before they make
Wednesday
the
the
motion.
12th to the county for final approval.
I'll second
Excuse me, amended approval.
I'll second
Is there any further comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
He should
Motion
call for the
carries.
question. See, they're supposed to call for a
All right,
question.
we already did B,
And they don't do
so
that.
we're gonna go into new business. Discussion and or deliberation and or official action on authorizing the sale of the 2020 Dodge Durango.
So I just found out this week, Penn West at Cal U was interested, but they had some bad news last week. They told them they're not giving them any money, and they're gonna cut $7 million from their budget, so they're not gonna be able to buy the Durango out. So I need a motion to be able to advertise this for sale, as we normally do on municipal bid.
I'll make that motion.
I second it.
Any comments or questions?
We're gonna have to take anything off of it prior to.
Well, if it's not another police agency that buys it, then we'll have to take the light bar and all the emergency lights off of it. And normally we'll pull the decals off it.
Okay.
I mean, this bid's a bid, I mean, I'll have to look and see what some other ones are going for. I mean, it's kind of tough because with the selling it to another police agency with the cages and the lights and the gun rack and everything, it had a little more value to it than just selling it to somebody that may just want to buy it, so. And we can put a reserve, we can put a reserve on it, or we can just see what it does, and we're not obligated to take the low bid if we don't feel the high bid, if we don't feel it's, sufficient.
Okay, I just wanted to make double sure. Thank you.
Any other further comments, questions?
When you're done with this one, I'll do.
Okay.
Put one in there.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
We didn't finish the other planning and zoning issues.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Are we finished with old?
Yeah, we went on to new.
Yeah. You pick a spot, doesn't matter to me, I don't care. Be last, you can keep going on.
All right, let's finish this, and then before we go into executive session,
Yeah,
sorry.
thank you, that's all right.
My bad on that one. Discussion and or deliberation and or official action on the GPS units in the police vehicles.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. You said earlier that it's not the police.
No, the only vehicles that have are the police department. However, it's a moot point because, Joe, we're tied into a contract for 2 or 3 more years, I
We're
think.
tied, there was a 3-year contract when we signed up, and I looked at the contract, and, our first payment was, February of 2023, so we have to go till March of, because it's the month, it starts the month after, so March of 2026, and then it'd be a 1-year renewal after they, with a 60-day notice to terminate.
So,
So-
nothing we can do.
We have
The only reason why I suggest it's $49
For
for what?
what?
A month.
It's, yeah, it's 40,
$49.99?
We looked at getting out of it, Chuck, that's all, taking them out, but we can't, so.
The reason why I ask this is because per the contract with the union, we can't use it for any type of discipline. So to have it in there, it's nice to know where they're at, right? But I really can't use it to say, hey, you were speeding, hey, you were doing this, you were doing that. So it's nice to know where they're at and be able to see them, but you can't use it for anything.
it was put in for officer safety, because there
Right.
was a couple of incidents.
So,
Yes,
agree with you
exactly.
100%. But at this point in time, I'm just kind of limited to what my usage of it is, so, you know, I'm looking at, hey, how do I save money, $600 a year, you know?
Well,
You
we
save- you
approved,
save
we
money.
approved that. We were sold on the idea that if a police officer can't be reached on the radio,
Right.
and,
Right.
you know, they
We
may
know
be
where they're
in a bad situation, you get on there, you take a look, you run to the car, make sure they're okay.
Yeah.
So that sold us on the idea, spend the money, equip them, and then go on this contract. So we have all the equipment in there now.
Correct.
So if there's really not a reason, and we're not gonna fear one day, we feel pretty bad about the fact we took them out and someone got hurt. I can't make that cost on my business, but if we pull them out of the, is you saying cancel the contract and pull them out?
If we could, but we can't, because we're in the contract, so we can't cancel it.
No, I mean, when the contract expires, you just said that's the idea,
Yeah,
right?
when
When it expires, get
when
rid
the
of it.
contract expires,
What do
I
you do
would
with the
suggest,
equipment?
well, not renewing it, but we got time for that, so there's not, it's a moot point.
Yeah, I think that would be a discussion for that day.
Yeah, not now.
You know,
Okay, then I guess I'm
60,
lost.
at least 60 days prior.
I didn't know that we were tied into a contract, so I brought it up.
It was put on here before we knew that we had a contract.
Correct.
Okay,
Okay?
okay,
All right.
thank you.
You good?
Yeah, sorry.
Discussion and or deliberation and or official action on adopting and advertising the 2024 annual audit.
That's just our annual audit from the auditor. I sent you the draft, a week or so ago. I gave you a hard copy tonight. It was a clean audit, no issues.
I make that motion.
Okay, will I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
I hope you discussion.
Sorry. Discussion?
Yeah, I just had a couple easy questions. This has to be advertised for how long? 30 days?
No, we have to submit this by April 1st to the state, and then we advertise our audit in the newspaper.
After that April 1st date? Or before?
It doesn't matter, you can do it before since you've approved it, but it has to be submitted to the state by April 1st. We don't meet again until mid-April.
Okay. Okay.
Any other comments?
Remember last year, we had a hiccup, and we had to have a special meeting in March to be able to
Yep.
do it.
Any further comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and deliberation and or official action on sewage billing options starting January 1st, 2026.
I'll let you go over it.
So as Mr. Goff stated earlier, we received a notice from current provider that does billings and collections for us. They're in the process of changing their software, and they would no longer provide sewage billing services to us starting January 1st of 2026. So We reached out to a few different places, with some information. There was one sewage authority that said they might be interested in doing it, and they said no, they weren't interested. What you have in front of here is what the final choices where we came down with. One was our current tax collector, Mike, proposal from him to do it completely, but he wasn't able to get anybody to come back with software cost or annual fee. I'm assuming you didn't get those yet, I've got to ask you today. So that was kind of next. The other one was having Penn Township Sewage Authority do the billings for us. We would still have to do all the collections and everything in-house, but they provide this service to Trafford. That's the one option you see there. The other option is kind of like, I don't want to say a hybrid approach, but Christina and I had a demo with this other software called MuniLink. Mike actually sat in on it as well. And that was the first option you see here for MuniLink. And what we discussed is Mike has already set up, he sends out his tax bills now. He's already set up with a third party that's able to do that. So what we discussed was going with MuniLink, the borough, would purchase the software and pay the monthly fee. There's a fee in there and Mike would send out the billings and take the payments. We could also take the payments in the office on days Mike wasn't here, so it was a little more convenient for the residents. And you have those costs there. The meter reads, we would pay regardless. That's us getting the water reads from MEWC. There's a mailing setup fee, which is a one-time fee when we get started with the provider. Mike might be able to give you a little more information on that. And then obviously postage, we would pay postage costs. And with any of these, they are subject to an annual increase based on, like most companies would, they look like the CPI, and there's an annual increase. Excuse me, Dawn, one other thing for you. The reason we have it on the agenda now is it takes, at least with MuniLink and even with PTSA, it takes about 150 days to get everything set up and running. So the last bill we would have go out with our current provider would be in October for the third quarter of 2025. And we would need to be ready and live sometime in that time period so we would be able to send bills out beginning of January for the fourth quarter of 2025. And MuniLink, I know, told me it takes approximately 150 days to get everything, the conversion, and bring all the data in. And they said they go through it multiple times to make sure they're not missing anything. And those are the options. And we met with the Personnel and Finance Committee. Mr. Jordan's not here tonight, and they can tell you what their recommendation is.
As we talked, the PTSA, they use the MuniLink also, right, Joe?
No, they use something called Harris software.
Who else used the MuniLink? There was a couple other.
Yeah, I'm sorry. North Huntington Municipal Authority and also Franklin Township Municipal Authority both use MuniLink. They had nothing but good things to say about it.
And they've used them for years.
Yeah, NHTMA's been using them for, what did they tell us?
I think 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, 10 years for North Huntington, 5. And then if we go with them and once we get it set up, there's also a couple other options
we all think the Muni Link is the best way to go.
With, you know, with Mike, working with us to do
Right.
that. So we'd have to probably, Chelsea would probably draft some sort of an agreement, you know, between
Which
us and Mike.
you would want that also, right, Mike?
Okay, let me see if I got that right. So, year one, 74,338, but year two is gonna drop to 26,800.
Pretty much, yeah.
You wouldn't have the 17.5 or the 8.25.
So my question is
Eight,
probably what you're
okay, yeah,
thinking.
yeah, okay, so that's gonna put it down to 26,000.
Right,
Roughly.
Okay.
and that's probably what it's gonna be, at least 26 to 30 grand every year after.
What do we pay now?
That's just,
A year,
Yeah.
somewhere around 10, 12, 10.
and that's why they're not doing it anymore, huh?
Well, they said they're changing software. So they don't want to, they said they didn't want to include us in with the new software and.
What did you do to them?
Actually, I said the same thing, and we're the last borough that they were collecting for.
Yeah.
So, as we just talked about sewage rates.
Yeah. Gotta be done. So are you gonna take, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, you're gonna say something, guy?
Yes, with the Harris PTSA, why is it so expensive for the quarterly billing?
Because they would charge us 3% of what they bill. So our quarterly bills are anywhere from 192 to 4,000 to 200,000. So just say 200,000, they're gonna charge us, 3% of that, 200,000 times 4. So,
And then is that the same thing for the delinquent bills review? Because they're
Well-
more expensive in those two areas.
yeah, I can't remember exactly, but PTSA was charging us a lot more for the delinquents.
Thank you.
Chuck, do you have a question?
No, I think I get it, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, delinquent bills gone from PTSA would be $3 per notice. And I was kind of surprised when I looked to see what we had. We have about 175 delinquents go out, or better, every quarter.
And they'll handle those as well?
We'll send you, with the muni, they'll do that. Now, the reason it's 145 for the delinquents for them is that's their minimum for sending it out. I mean, the breakdown on their bills to send out is around 20 cents, not including postage, once, you have the setup fee and everything. It's not a lot per bill, for the bill in the envelope.
So for what this, is for, and the amounts that it is over, of course, anything else, we're gonna have to bid this as well.
It's a professional service.
Professional service.
Yeah, you don't need to because it's
Okay.
professional.
We talked about that.
Okay.
All right, so
So I would like to make a motion that we purchase the Muni Link
I'll second that.
with Mike.
Yeah.
Right,
do we need in that thing to have Chelsea draw up something?
yeah, I would like to do a 2-year, contract, if that's okay with you.
He did propose a 2-year
Yeah,
contract.
we talked about that, so.
Okay.
All right.
We have a second, David?
I second.
Okay. Any further comments or questions? Do we need to roll call this?
I don't think you do, because it's still just a rolling.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and deliberation and or official action on approving the purchase of an emergency generator for the municipal building. You want to say?
I mean, we talked about it last month and said we got a grant, but we didn't have on the agenda to actually approve the purchase of it, even though there's a grant involved.
So, and the grant's paying 100% of it?
Yes, so there's.
Okay.
Make that motion.
Was that the?
That was it.
I'll second that motion.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and deliberation and or official action on accepting the resignation of the administrative assistant. What are the wishes of council?
I will unfortunately make that motion to accept her resignation.
Is there a second?
She can see her name in print.
I'll second it.
You're stuck.
Any comments or questions?
Of course,
I'd like
Mr.
to make a
Motion.
comment and just thank Christina for the work that she has done.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Christine.
Fantastic job.
Happy birthday. All right, all those in favor? Opposed? Me.
What? That's the generator paperwork.
The motion carries. Discussion and deliberation and or official action on advertising and accepting resumes for the administrative assistant position.
I make that motion.
And I'll second it.
Oh, hold on. We gotta figure out a time frame, correct?
Yeah, well, we discussed this at Personnel Committee.
Right.
The only thing we didn't talk about, do we want to advertise it just once, or do we want to do it twice? Last time we did it twice in the paper. We talked about advertising it March 17th, with applications due March 28th. And interviewing the first week of April to be able to hire at the April meeting to have somebody start a few weeks before Christina leaves, so they can have
Get some experience.
some experience with her. Christina had 2 days. It was a little. So, my only question is, do we want to advertise it twice or just once in the paper?
Are you going on Indeed as well? As opposed to-
I wasn't going to, because my experience with Indeed, it doesn't work. Because you put something on Indeed and you say what they need to do to apply, but they don't do it. They try to apply through Indeed.
Word of mouth is the best.
And we don't do it, so, yeah.
All right.
Wait a minute, but you're saying then only advertise this in one location?
Well, we advertise usually in the Penn Trafford News. Last time we looked at advertising something in the Trib, it was pretty cost prohibitive. It was
Yeah,
hundreds of
but
dollars.
I agree with that, but at the same time, you're also up against the clock that's gonna run out by the end of next month. So, sometime we gotta bite the bullet, spend the $300 to put
I
an ad
think
in
it's
there.
more than 300.
Is it, how much more?
Yeah, they went way.
Before I would post anything with the trip, I would absolutely say to do it online.
Yeah.
We'll put it on our website and, we'll advertise it.
Yeah, but we gotta go out and tell people we're doing it. No one's gonna come looking at Marion Burrows to be a.
Well, I figured everybody here could tell everybody they know.
And then they'll tell them.
They'll tell everybody they know.
We'll have to put it We're already covered, we'll go and get them.
All right, so what we're asking is for the motion to include if we're advertising it 1 week or 2 weeks.
I'd advertise in 2 weeks.
I would.
So that would be March 17th to March
Aren't
20th.
a lot of you on Facebook?
And
Why don't we just start plugging it on there if it's gonna go everywhere?
I will then,
You know what I mean?
my second.
Put her on the Westmoreland County page.
There you go. You're hired.
Don, are you amended?
To
For
include 2 weeks.
Just tell
Who was the
her
second on
she
that?
spread
I,
Oh, Dave,
I made the motion.
He made the motion, she seconded it. Okay, she
yeah,
seconded it.
that's what I said.
Well, that's all they do.
Okay. Any further comments or questions?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Put her
The
on the
motion
sign.
carries. Sometimes I forget we start talking. So, discussion and or deliberation and or official action on street sweeping.
Every year we sweep the streets. The price went up $5 an hour from last year. It'll be $155 an hour. We average 20 to 22 hours when we sweep. Now, I don't know what this year's gonna be like because we threw a heck of a lot more salt than we have in the last 3 or 4 years. So,
We have one more.
We have less streets with all the flooding stuff going on, sewage stuff, they won't clean those streets or?
just those 2. But they'll probably still run up and down Ray Street a little bit, and yeah.
You said it averaged, what last year?
Well, I mean, we've been billed anywhere from 20 to 22 hours. So what's, 22 hours is what, a little over 36. That'd be like, not quite 3,500, but I don't know if we're gonna go over 22 hours this year or not, depending on, you know, the dirtier the streets are, the more times he has to stop and empty the sweeper and all that kind of stuff, so.
I make a motion, we do it.
Second that motion.
Okay, any further comments or questions? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and a deliberation and or official action on accepting the resignation of the part-time custodian.
Again, I'll be begrudgingly.
I make that motion.
Well, Dawn already beat you to it, you can second it there.
Me, Mr. Motion.
Good luck with that.
Mr. Motion.
What, trying to get out?
Yeah.
Oh, you heard me?
Oh, yeah. Okay, is there a second to Dawn's motion?
Yeah, Dave did.
Second it?
Yeah, Dave did. He seconded it.
Okay. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye. That's only one. Opposed? Aye. Discussion and a deliberation and or official action on accepting resumes for the part-time custodian position. Kind of the same thing as before.
I'll make that motion to advertise, 2 times, on the 17th and the 25th.
Is there a second?
The 24th, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
What's it pay?
How much you want?
Dave, you cannot be the custodian.
I'll second it.
Yeah, the part-time custodian is part of the Teamsters bargaining unit, so I wanna say his wages are around $19 an hour right now.
Oh, that's pretty
Okay.
good.
Any further comments or questions?
Any discussion on when we have a little more time, we can wait a little longer on these departments and then.
Why don't we just do it at the same time?
Well, because then the public works department in the contract has to fill in when he's not here. So we have a little more time if you wanna, you know.
3 weeks. It's 3 weeks.
You mean as far as accepting applications?
Yeah, the due date. So to give you a little more time, I mean, we could do it for a month. I don't think it's,
Right.
you know, in the 17th and, you know, maybe do. Is that what you wanna do?
Yeah.
No, 31st.
Can you do April's, I mean, they'd have to make a motion.
When's his, data?
His last day is March 23rd.
Yes.
I don't know if it's Dawn wants. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
I'll amend my motion to advertise
This is interesting.
March,
You want somebody local.
or
It's just you do.
the dates, do that.
Okay.
What days? March 17th and
24th, but should she amend her motion to include when the applications are due by, right?
when do you want to buy?
Jim said April 7th.
April 7th?
So, you should amend.
And so I'm going to amend the dates from, to include the 24th of March and the
7th of April.
7th.
Applications are due by April 7th. That's what you're amending?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. Terry, I'm sorry. Terry. Any further comments or questions?
Yes.
Yes.
One. How many hours does the custodian get?
Since 1963 and 13 cents.
The only unknown right now is the pole that they would run the power over to. I don't know who owns it. It's not a West Penn Power pole.
How far away is it from the flagpole?
What?
Where you get the power? Between the power, the pole with the power.
The pole for the pole for the power is on Ray Street, near the bank. And then
Same side of the street?
No, the opposite.
Where the
side.
power is now.
And they would run a line over to the pole that's behind the monument on the bend on the Kelly by the tracks. But
Is
we,
the pole existing?
yes, but we don't know who owns the pole. It's not a West Penn pole. I think it might be an Alltel pole. But I haven't been able to find that out yet. We would just probably need their permission to be able to put a meter socket on that pole.
And they're gonna wanna bring that, power down the pole.
Yeah, it would come across West Penn.
Down the ground and come up underneath it.
And there'd be a light that would shine up to the flag, and then two that would shine down on the memorial with the words.
Are we paying for the, monthly?
We would have, yeah, we would have to set up an account with West Penn Power and pay the monthly utility bill, whatever that is. It would be a new service, essentially. And I can't tell you what that would be.
Won't be much if they're LED bulbs.
Right.
No, well, it's not so much involved, it's just, they raised all their prices recently.
I mean,
And this amount of money, 37,000, is your.
No, $1,900.
$1,900.
Say 2-3.
Oh, it's not that.
It's-
I'm gonna say, how did this guy get the $37,000?
That's your generator.
Yeah.
And I'd like to make a motion that we pay it.
I would second that motion.
Find it?
Thank you.
You want?
Capital.
Either that or something.
You know, I mean, either or would be, yeah.
We can't do anything until we find out who owns that pole.
Does it have a tag on it?
No,
No tag at all?
no.
Then how was the nearest homeowner or property owner, maybe they put it in?
No, it's a regular big telephone pole. It's weird, it's got like 3 huge conduits sticking out of the ground with nothing in them, and then they're terminated at the top of the pole with nothing coming out, so I have no idea.
Well, if you get in a bind to where you can't use that, go to my lot and take one out that's there. Take a backhoe up, it's already disconnected,
Hey, Joe,
pull it off.
Yes,
could that be lighting for the old railroad tunnel,
Back there's a
where they walk down?
meter
I
cycle
don't think
too.
so. No? Okay.
I'm pretty sure, somebody told me one time, a long time ago, it's possibly Alltel, because they have lines running through here, I think, even though, you know, they don't have anybody they service in this area.
Right.
So it could be an abandoned pole,
I don't think.
but they still, okay, I get it.
We'll-
Their lines may still be here.
We'll track it down.
I'm serious about that pole up there. It has a meter socket on it, has everything, if you don't, so if there's anything there, you can use that. If one day it's missing, I'll thank you.
Okay.
All right, so do we have a second?
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
Dave,
you,
I'm sorry,
Joe.
once again. You're so quick tonight, Dave. Any further comments or questions?
Yes, John wants the dog.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and deliberation and or official action on payment request from SME Utility Contracting.
These are the numbers that we measured, and we measured and agreed to pay. So, right at this point, that's what I'm recommending.
Okay, so did everybody hear that? As recommended,
No.
okay.
Yeah, these, the numbers on the invoice, does everybody have the invoice?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And those numbers are on the second page. And all the numbers that are approved there, we can substantiate, verify, and approve. So that's where we're at.
And of that payment, is that the first one to come out at 500,000?
This is actually, no, there was one or two payments that came out of Oak Street. This is actually, majority of this is for McKelvey with the exception, I think, of about 25,000.
So
All of this is for work on McKelvey, like 98% of it's for work.
this still has a $300,000 balance probably? If it was 508?
You don't know about for the Oak Street project?
Yeah, just for this contract.
Oh, just for this contract?
It says 500,000 balance.
Yeah.
Balance to finish 508, and then it's handwritten.
This
payment at
this
195.
balance was for everything though.
508 is the balance, Chuck.
For
If you
all, the
look
whole project.
right above it, the 195 is already taken off.
Oh, I see.
I might do
I
this
thought the handwritten
application.
was taken off, I got you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve payment.
We have a second?
I'll second it.
Any further comments or questions?
They're just 195, 728, 75, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Just making sure I got it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and or deliberation and or official action on repairs to the rigid sewer camera.
Yeah, we sent our camera to get looked at. We thought the end of the line where it goes into the camera just needed returned because after a while from using that camera, from, you know, putting it in and out of the line, it gets banged up, it gets loose there. But it turns out that, once they tested it and it got so far out, there was glitches in the camera. So they determined based on the air code they got that we need a new camera head. This price here is for a refurbished, getting a refurbished camera head. A new camera head's probably in the neighborhood of $8,000.
Is there a warranty with this refurbished one?
I don't know, I don't think so, but I mean, at this point, it's the lesser of two evils. I mean, the camera, I mean, we can't really complain. We've not really done anything to this camera other than we had a messed up part of the line. They cut it and repaired it once. This camera was bought in 2011, I believe. 2011, 2012. We had it before the original sewer project, so it's got a lot of use.
But let me ask you this company's in Noble and Harrisburg, did they get this camera in hand to make the determination?
Yeah, their sales rep, out in this way, actually picked it up last week, drove it to their Cranberry shop for us and waited while they tested it and everything, and then brought it back because I knew this needed approved once he told me what was wrong.
Okay, so that's, and I understand it's common, and how long have we had that?
Somewhere in around 2011, 2012, we had it before our big store project happened over here. And when was that, in 12? So we bought this in 2011.
Been a lot of fights?
Yeah.
And then here's the other question, if this originally was an $8,000 camera,
I don't know what it was. I know originally we paid a little over 12,000, I think, for the camera system and maybe the locator. They told me they don't sell them. This place doesn't sell them new. They can fix them and repair them and everything. They can't. They're not a dealer. They told me around $7,500 to $8,000 for a new camera.
do they want the old camera?
Well, yeah, you have to send. We have to take it to them. They have to take the camera off, send it back to Rigid, and they send us a refurbished one, and then they'll put it back on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, you know, like
Oh,
everything else.
they're gonna refurbish the one we have?
No, they're gonna send us a refurbished one. Ours goes back, you know, kinda like when you get a battery, you gotta send the old battery back,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
I make a motion, we move forward with that.
I'll second
Any further comments or questions?
Yeah, where's the money come from? Did I miss that?
We have money in for equipment repairs in the store budget.
Oh, okay, so it's sort of.
Oh, they're taking money on the sewer fund.
Okay, any further comments or questions?
Gonna wipe it off.
All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Chuck, do you want to finish your planning and zoning?
Well, I gotta make it sure. Couple of things. This is, just a formality. This is my resignation from the rec board. I'll read it. Please accept this resignation from the board of directors of Manor Recreation Board at the April 2025 regular council meeting and effective April 30th. My attendance at the scheduled April meeting of the rec board, if needed, will afford the board 2 members and I to nominate and accept the most recent appointed volunteer to the board, bringing the membership to 3 volunteers following this resignation. It does go on and explain some of those things. You could read it yourself, but basically, I think you're gonna have to also consider appointing another council person as rep. The rep made 1 meeting since you made that change, how long ago? And if I'm not gonna be on the board until the last meeting, I've been filling that void as well. So you're gonna have to do something, make sure that a council person.
We'll have to put this on the agenda for next month.
Yeah.
Your resignation.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I said, for it to go in and effective then, gives us time for them to have that meeting. The woman you had last month put in, she'll have to be in place, because if not, then they won't be able to hold the meetings. So I'm gonna have to go there to at least open their meeting, and then back out from there.
Okay.
Okay? And then, I had a quite lengthy discussion with the zoning officer about Monday night. A resident came in to the planning commission meeting with this. It's a picture of a posted zoning notice. Oh, yeah. And asked me what it meant and what it was, and all I could say is I don't have the vaguest idea. It's the first time I've seen it. That's why I had to meet the phone conversation with our zoning officer. And I want the administrative office to feel the same way about this as him and I discussed it. He was 100% in agreement that he thought that he didn't know to do it, but bottom line, I want to know what's going on at that zoning hearing board. As it's written there, it's called the planning and zoning. It's not just planning, it's zoning. So at that meeting and after the hearing, we're going to discuss it there in front of all the members as well. Because otherwise, you don't have the vaguest idea what's going on at your zoning hearing board. And the only way you're disconnected from them is they cannot appeal a decision to you. Anything that's appealed from the zoning hearing board has to go to court. But that does not exclude you from knowing exactly what's going on at a zoning hearing board, an entity of this borough. So he totally agreed. He said that he's gonna talk to administration as well and make sure that anything like this, that won't happen again, I'll hear about it. If he's gonna, he can make sure I'm on the email chain.
He's gonna do that though.
He's gonna do that.
Okay.
Okay,
Can I
so
ask you-
next time out, it'll be easier for me at the planning and zoning to keep you in touch with what's going on, so.
Okay.
Quick question. Does that say they're putting in for rezoning or variance?
We're putting in for a variance.
Okay. To rezone.
No, there's no
You
reason.
can't rezone that way. Variance is standalone for that part.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that
Okay?
I barely saw that. Thank you.
Just so you know, they have the property posted with those things.
Yeah, that's what it's.
Where that came from, we're gonna
They
take care of that.
just posted it.
Been posted for a few days.
When you had a couple meetings back, I believe it was, might have been December, there was discussion about the issues of the Sandywood, 2 lots by the detention pond. That's coming in front of the planning commission next month. And the attorney has sent some paperwork over. I'm sure if you have interest in it, you should take a look at it as well. When it's done, the planning commission will come to you as well. And I think between now and then, the one document we may need from the office any document when the property was accepted by the borough for stormwater. If back then, and you were there then, as built, anything that shows lot 11 and 12 in or out of that dedication. So if it's in the dedication, it would have been accepted, of course, by the borough. If it's not included in the dedication, it stayed in the ownership of the property owner. Now, we're gonna leave it to our solicitors to make sure that the easement agreements that are in there are not within an error.
I believe Chelsea has all those.
I do, I have all of that, and I actually went to the county and confirmed Juramak owns the property.
If memory serves me correctly, we did 2 adoptions. We had to do one for everything in the road. And then we did a second one because, not that pond, but the lower pond, the bigger acreage pond, there was some question about who owned that, what it was supposed to be dedicated for, what it wasn't supposed to. So then we adopted all the stormwater outside of the road.
Correct, and you did, from what I recall, and again, I haven't looked at this in a while, but I believe you ended up adopting all stormwater ponds. You did it collectively, I think, with others.
In Sandywood.
In Sandywood,
Yes.
correct, yeah.
The only other document I'd like to get before that, and it gives us a month, but I'd like to get before that, I don't wanna sketch it out myself. I think it has to come from either, the engineer or maybe the zoning officer, one of the two, so that the planning commission can understand what's going on those lots. The 2 of them should be it's already on a plan, even if it's just a copy of that shows the building lines.
You mean on Sandy Hill?
And just a little statement that says,
It's off Sandy Hill.
the remaining land, you can build within that district, the houses will fit. Because it has it in the drawing, it's how does it fit?
Can you get that to them?
Yes. Do you agree? Okay. Sooner the better. I'll tell you what we're also doing there. We're moving at the end of every meeting, we're going to be putting together the agenda for the next month as a draft. The secretary will send it out to the members, just to kind of remind everyone that you now have 3 weeks of all of these items. And if anything is added in within the time frame, we're going back to the 2 weeks before the meeting for anyone to get on the agenda. Because 2 weeks before the meeting, we want to send our agenda to the office.
Okay.
Let the office then be responsible to get it advertised, get it posted, do whatever they have to do with it. It gives them 2 full weeks to be ready. We won't make any changes after that 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, if you do have a change, that's fine. We won't post it until the Friday before the meeting.
Yeah, I mean,
So
you can do that.
if something comes up and you need to add or change something, just revise it, send it to us by that latest, that Friday.
Well, we're hoping to stick to that 2 week period.
Sometimes.
No matter what, if something real odd's gonna have to come in, yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's it.
Okay. I'm holding you to it, Chuck.
We're also, you helped me too soon. The planning commission has on next month's agenda the occupancy permit. I've talked about that a few times, just kind of give you an idea of it. So anything anyone needs in the meantime, it's that one is basically, so far it's just an application. And it includes putting the landowner and the tenant on that permit application. And it just kind of might meet that requirements we talked about a handful of times.
Who's gonna be doing the inspections?
Zoning officer.
Okay. I'll talk to you then.
Yeah.
Okay?
Perfect.
Mr. President,
Yes.
there's one thing that Chuck didn't say about planning commission, and that is, if we could get it in paper that there is an open seat, if anyone's interested, please.
You wanna put it in the paper?
Yes,
I mean, Chip will normally put that in, right?
right, well, that's fine for me.
Do we have those signs out that we have before?
Nope.
out on the streets?
We do.
Can we put those back out? It's been a while since we've
Yeah,
done them out.
yeah, we can put them back out.
Okay, yeah, we'll do whatever we can to build it.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right, is there any correspondence?
No, sir.
I need approval to pay the bills.
Didn't dawn
Have a second?
us.
I have a second? I'd like to pay the bills.
Okay.
Can't do it without a second. Is there any- Okay, any comments or questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Bills will get back to you. Is there a need for executive session?
Yes.
I need a motion.
Make a motion, we move to executive session.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Opposed?
You're gonna need me,
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? Because I never got involved in the zoning hearing board until I went on. And then it just stayed.
Where you going, Bugs?
Right to you, right to my favorite person.
Oh, my sweetheart.
Come on, you know that.
Help me out.
No,
bud.
depending on how long you want. I don't know. I got lots of plans going around.
Oh, do ya?
Yeah, I'm out of school tomorrow. Go.
Where you going?
So Penn State,
Yeah, Dawn kept me when she comes over. What do you call her? No, it's just her. She says, I was up there, I don't know where, because she went to Canada. She said, I swear, she says, Brandy told me to come over and I wanted to hurt you and told you about the son. I said, well, I don't believe it. And I said, he did not. And I said, it's over. I said, you asked me if I was bothering you. I said, I told you. I said, it is over. The situation's over. I heard that part. And I kept telling her, and she kept, I said, it's over, it's done. I said, I'm over the issue. But, you know, I'm done. I mean, I was done with her. I'll say hello. And, I mean, Dad, if she would say what she's saying about me. What was she saying about me? She's she wants a fence where her windows are because the lights come down the alley. I said, well, get those dark boots. She says she has the drapes. Just keep it. She says, I'd like to see
All those in favor?
outside.
Opposed?
She looks
We are
outside
back
the
in.
fence.
Now for personnel, employee personnel.
Now, you
matters.
know that's not what you're supposed to say. We go through this every month.
Will you let me finish my sentence?
Yes, please. Better finish.
Employee personnel matters of discipline or potential discipline, as well as potential litigation with contractors.
You said that the last
I did not
meeting
say that
about
the last
discipline against an employee.
All right, citizen comments. Glenn and Jill Huffman.
Hi folks, I'm Glenn, this is Jill, and first timers here at the council meeting.
So you should, Joe.
It's interesting, we're learning a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
How it did shit shows operate.
Just coming to kind of share a situation and ask for your advice, make you aware of something as well, and to see where we proceed from there. We live on Stonebridge Court in Crimson Point, and last October, I think it was, we smelled gas really strongly around our house. Short of the long is, we called the gas company, and they came, and the gas company representative said that that there was a release of the gas that was on that, is it Standard 4 well, that's right behind the Job's house, I think it's right off the right of way the borough has. He said they get a call like twice a month, sometimes 4 to 6 months, 4 to 6 weeks or whatever, and they always have to respond to it. They go to every house, they want it, make sure, they came into our house and make sure it wasn't there. Where we're situated towards the top, kind of like all in that area, gathers that smell. So we have a couple concerns. One is, talking to other neighbors, they've smelled it too. And it sounds like folks have made calls, the gas company comes all the time. The gas company says that it's not within their jurisdiction or domain is the right terminology there, but they can't control it. The one gas company representative called the number that was on that standard well 4 number, and he was talking to the person and said, hey, you gotta let these folks know when you release gas, because we're getting calls all the time when we're coming out and doing this because we're concerned about safety. And it sounded like he had a contentious phone call. And he also alerted him that he noted a small leak in the well as well, which concerned us. But he said, I can't do anything about it other than telling them that there's a leak and also requesting that they let the public know. And this resurfaced again a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, same thing.
Really strong smell.
Noxious odor, to the point where my husband had just left, and about 10 minutes later, I exited to leave for work, and it was quite overwhelming, to the point where I was nauseous. And so, I vacated and I got in touch with the gas company again, because they tell us each time, please call us, because you never know. And so the gentleman came out about an hour and 20 minutes later. He wandered around the house, opened up the house for him to go down. Nonetheless, he said, this is this well situation again. He said that you're not our only call. So we certainly have concerns. Obviously, methane gas, highly explosive. And again, I don't have the meters to check on that information, but it does present a concern, not only for our health, but also for the community in general, if there would be any type of explosion. So we wanted to bring that to you. We don't know what steps you take from here, but we thought it was worthwhile bringing to all of you.
What I would do, I would call 911.
In the future, call 911. And that thought passed my mind, because we called the gas company, but I thought, my guess is that our police would likely tell us, call the gas company and have a check. You think that-
Fire department.
Fire department.
Okay,
Yeah, when you call 911, the fire department will respond to that.
okay,
They'll notify 911 what they got, then the county will be calling that gas company.
okay.
We've had that happen a couple of times, even there's a well
Yeah.
kind of behind the plant we live in, Terry, off of the one, Creekside Lane there, and I've had other neighbors call for that too, and they blow off there with the well.
And we're the kind of folks, we never want to misuse our resources here. So that's why we're bringing it to you.
But they said there was a crack in the well?
He said there's a leak in the well.
A leak in the well?
He said it wasn't overwhelming, but myself and my neighbor were listening and talked to the guy and said that there's a leak there. Somebody's gotta do something about that, as well as making a request about the release, if they could do that, so the public would know. But he said, beyond telling him I can't do anything for the gas company, because we have nothing that's involved with overseeing any of that stuff. So, and one last point is that we're just concerned, in talking to other neighbors, that folks are so used to smelling that gas, thinking it is a leak, and they don't know for sure, that there's a lot of complacency out there that, God forbid, that the Jobs left their gas on, or some other neighbor, and before you know, you have another situation, you have plumber where the house blows up and people die. So, don't want to be alarmist, but we also don't want to feel the weight of the guilt on us if something happens and someone dies.
I think we can try to, so Terry's our public safety chair. He's gonna give a call to the county and see if we can at least get something moving.
Yeah, I'll talk to the county and see what I can do with that.
It doesn't matter to me if they make the call, because they may have to as well, and you make it as well ahead of time, that down at Neville Island in Pittsburgh is DEP. And that's a joint permit between DEP and EPA, because they needed the DEP to do the groundwork, and they needed the EPA to regulate what's coming out. Between the two of them, if you contact them, either one of them, they're gonna have that joint permit. They're gonna know what they could have, they should have done back then, what regulations they're under to maintain it. If they are in violation, you all, if it's the borough or yourselves, have a lot of ammunition if they're in violation of that permit. And if they're not in any violation, then you have to start looking in another direction. But if that permit gave them the rights to be there, it also gave them the regulations to do the stay. So.
It's just
Mike, don't we have a gas meter on trucks or something?
I'll try to get over
But that's, the DEP is your hammer, without a doubt.
And I think with our research, we found out that the gas lease, potentially was up in December of 2024. We don't know if that was renewed or what, but, or if anybody's really even doing a lot of checking on that, or whether they're just releasing pressure, but nonetheless, concerns.
Don't be afraid, call 911.
Don't be afraid.
Thank you.
Thing two is that makes it a legal record of your phone call.
That's kind of what we wanted to even share here, just to kind of let you all know for public,
Safety.
and knowledge of that, because, again, the complacency part of it is like, if they just said, hey, on Monday mornings between 6 and 7, we're gonna do that, that's at least something. I mean, someone else stove can still be on, but at least it's not like, that's, it's unknown.
See, to me, the releasing of it isn't the big deal. If there's a leak, that's the bigger deal.
Right, because there are many times, in the
Is
past.
it in the ground building pressure, or is it constantly in the air, like you're saying?
Yeah, it
That's
happens,
the
but
problem.
my wife put it on Facebook this last time, and they said, oh, yeah, it's,
It's often around 7 a.m. and I said, well, we've lived here for 7 years. And, it just seems like recently, we're smelling this. And so that tells me right there that, you can't tell me that we haven't noticed this in 70,
Right.
But all of a sudden it's happening within the past 6 months.
And if the gas company says they're coming out on average every 4 to 6 weeks, that seems like excessive too. Anyway, we appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
If you could be anything else, that's great, and appreciate your call. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jerry Lewis?
Yes, sir. Am I recognized? Thank you. I put in a right to know for a record of inspection reports by the door company for inspection of Manor Borough's building doors. Now, I was told a couple years ago that these doors were ADA compliant. Now, if you have a door company come in, how come there isn't a written inspection to back it up? So all I'm hearing is hearsay.
I believe that the insurance council hired an expert to come in and look at the building to see what needs to be changed, if at all. And I don't know where that, if it's written in a report or if it was just verbal, but what I know is that the doors are compliant. That's what I was told, and again, I heard that from, I don't know if I heard it from Trish directly or if I heard it from Joe, but that's all I know.
It's in that phone.
Was it written, Mr. Cherry, a written inspection? Is it written or hearsay?
It was 6 months ago. I don't remember every word for word, but I do know that there was a list of the issues that had to be taken care of for ADA, and I zeroed in on this. But I will tell you this, remember, I put this building together.
Yes.
I know that the day they were built, those are 100% ADA.
But she can still
Now,
ask.
if you found a law that said they have to be retrofit for something new, that would make sense.
Just got it.
Depending on the age of the building though, some buildings, no matter what, are grandfathered in because of the age of them.
Well, ADA
Which
is pretty strange.
ADA, I guess, but
They like to make their own rules and you have to comply sometimes.
I completely understand that, but depending on the age of the building, some things are grandfathered in and do not have to be changed.
Well, if they would have said that there was an ADA issue, it's usually because you do something else to the building and then all of a sudden you have to make the entire structure ADA accessible. And we did have a parking lot done by
So-
Conservation District, who has a direct line to the ADA requirements, so we
I received a
didn't have to
phone
do
call
it then either.
from someone who interviewed me, some attorney.
Probably Patricia Monahan.
Yes.
Trish
Regarding, yes, and what we discussed was.
Well, that's in litigation, I don't recommend talking about litigation issues. So, again, Jerry, I know you asked for, is there a type of document from a door company? And it appears that the answer is no, a document does not exist under the right to know law.
He
Jerry,
just
the
said
right
it.
to know
He
law
just
is-
said it because he
Jerry.
got, no, wait a minute.
Let me explain to you. If there's a document that's part of litigation, we don't have to disclose it under the right to know law. Go look it
Really?
under
But you
708.
have to put in a denial so that I can appeal it, and if I go to the
Officer of
appeals,
the records.
that's right, or I can go to court, okay?
You can, yeah.
So, if Mr. Cherry said, well, that was about 6 months ago, but I was looking at the PA, it's in the folder. It's in the folder because
Well,
Joe has
you
the
didn't hear me right
folder.
then. I said I was looking specifically for sound system. Sound system, remember, that's what I was asked to look into. And-
Okay, so why would somebody come here and say this, but you haven't seen it?
I'm not
Nobody
insurance
has seen it,
counsel.
so we're all listening by hearsay.
Jerry, you are part of that litigation.
Yes, and it's gonna continue
I get it.
because of the simple fact is
So-
that,
Request the document through your litigation
You
and
know-
not through a right to know request.
I can still do it through a right to
No, you
know
can't.
request. Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I
You
can.
can deny, well, okay, you're not gonna get it through right to know because it's gonna be denied because it's part of.
So you're saying that now I gotta resubmit my right to know claim? My right to know?
Was it not denied?
No. He didn't, he didn't
What's a
deny it.
denial in the sense that it doesn't exist. That's a denial.
He didn't deny it. He has to put it in writing that he denied it.
What does it ask for specifically?
I asked for a record copy of the inspection report by the door company.
But we didn't have a door company do the inspection.
Who did?
That's not a right to know. Right to know is
But
document.
you told me, Tony, and Sonny told me it was a door company.
Never told you it was a door company, never at any
That's
time.
not
it
what-
doesn't
Yes, you
work.
did.
Not a door
That's
company.
not what we said.
That's
I
not
said
what we
I
said.
believe that the insurance company brought somebody in. That's what I said. That.
No, you told me it was a door company.
No, Jerry, I did not. No.
You did last meeting.
No.
You said you
So,
already
I
had,
was-
so all the doors are ADA compliant, correct?
Jerry, again, here's my suggestion. Request.
No, I don't need, you've already screwed up. You already screwed up. Because the simple fact of it is that you're saying this stuff, I put in a right to know request, I'm allowed, either you approve it or you deny it. So you just violated.
Did you get a response?
Yeah,
What was the response?
yeah.
What's the response?
He says it's denied for the following reasons.
that's
After a
denied.
search of borough files, there was no record response to your request
That is a
found.
denial.
So, wait a minute.
You
So
answered
you're
it.
telling me that the insurance company did not send up that inspection
That's not
record
what
for you to
requested,
read?
And again, Jerry.
Yes,
and
it is.
I'm gonna say it.
Okay,
It'll be denied even if it exists
Okay.
because it's part of litigation, but if you ask.
No, but he didn't say it wasn't part of litigation. He said the record couldn't be found, and you guys had the litigation records. Okay, number 2. Here we go. The minimum technical requirements for assessment means of egress in the International Building Code including criteria for emergency evaluation for people with disabilities in this building. Evaluation planning, alarms, evaluation routes inside and outside the building, and signage. This and just came into effect, plus another DOJ complaint. So now another DOJ settlement came in about doors and about voting. So do we want to go through, keep going with the DOJ? I'll be glad to. And with litigation. I would like, seriously, to settle this. You put doorbells in. I don't know why the hell you put doorbells in. What's a doorbell? Because what you're doing is disabling the disabled. Because I cannot get in here and I damage my wheelchair. And I'll be damned if I'm going to keep damaging it when I come through that door. So, the question is, to council, do you want to settle this? Or do we keep going the way we've been going?
Chair, this is part of litigation. You know we can't say it. You know we can't.
Okay,
All right?
fine. Then it'll continue.
I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
5 till 10.
That's yours.
It's all right for some people to get some of their fucking shit, and I don't get nothing.
Yes.